Welcome back to Your Road to Home, a podcast that takes you beyond your front door here in the Carbon Valley, where we are your guide to loving where you live. I'm Kendra Badgekar with LPT Realty, here with
Maxine and Kendra, Guardian Mortgage.
Today, we are going to be giving you guys a market update and just chatting a little bit about what it's like to be a home buyer and a home seller in today's market, a little bit about what's forecasted to come for the rest of this year, and we just kind of wanted to give you the rundown on what we're seeing. So,
yes. What are you seeing, Kendra?
Well, it's an interesting time here in northern Colorado. We are seeing homes sit on the market longer now. It's taking closer to 30 days to get offers on properties, sometimes longer than that. And I think that's really just due to we're starting to see an influx of inventory that we have not had for years out here. We've got a lot of new construction happening and they're stacking up inventory, and then we have a lot of resale homes coming on. You know, I haven't seen more than 10 homes available since before COVID years, and now, you know, we've got over 100 to choose from out here in Frederick, Firestone, Dacono. You know, we've got a couple hundred homes to choose from if you're a home buyer. So
really,
yeah. So
wow.
that's including new construction. But you know, there's just a lot of options out there right now. So not that homes are not moving; they're definitely moving, but they are just taking a little bit longer because there's not quite as many buyers as we've had in the past. You know, before we would have 100 buyers and 5 homes available. So obviously they're going to go really fast, and now we have, you know, 100 homes and maybe 60 buyers available. So patience is the key in the market today.
Yes, and I think people are very rate sensitive now since the rates have increased so much over the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
So I think everybody's waiting for the election in hopes that rates will really come down and there'll be more buying power, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I will attest to that as well. But one thing that I will say to that too is that whether you're a home buyer or a home seller right now, interest rates are higher, absolutely. Affordability is at an all-time high, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that our home values have just dropped overnight.
Right.
So I know that we see a lot of home buyers trying to take advantage of today's market. And yes, you do have some negotiation power, absolutely. You should try to get a seller credit to help buy your interest rate down, because that's what's going to help you the most on your monthly mortgage payment, which is extremely important. But you know, it doesn't mean that the home value has just dropped 50 grand just because interest rates are higher. Our home values have stayed steady, and sellers know that, and they're not really willing to budge tremendously on that unless they're in an extremely motivated situation, and a lot of sellers are not right now. So that's just something to keep in mind that I'm also seeing in the market today.
Right. Would you say it's the pendulum is swinging more to buyer's market?
You know, that's always a great question, and I would say that it's pretty split down the middle right now, because just like I said, that sellers know that their values haven't dropped tremendously, but they also know that they do need to negotiate more today. So is it a stronger place for buyers? Yes, because they have more inventory to choose from, and yes, they can, you know, negotiate more as far as credits and inspection repairs and things like that go. You know, if there's issues that come up on the inspection report, we are definitely seeing sellers getting that taken care of, which we haven't seen in a few years on the market.
So for the first time home buyers out there, sorry, I ran into construction. We got a reverse here. So for the first time home buyers out there, what does it look like? What does negotiating seller credit look like? What does that mean? What does that mean to someone who doesn't really know about real estate transactions?
Yeah, so what I'm advising, especially first time, any home buyer, but especially first time home buyers, is the thing that you're most likely the most sensitive to is how much is my monthly mortgage payment, and can I afford this home, right? Because you've got to pay that, you've got, you know, property taxes to take into account, you're going to have your homeowner's insurance, all that's wrapped into your monthly mortgage payment, but it's a big expense on top of utilities and everything else that you're paying for in life, right? So how do we get your monthly mortgage payment down as much as possible? And the answer to that is getting that seller concession, because like if you had, let's just take an example of a $500,000 home. If you got $10,000 off of that purchase price, you would maybe save, what, $25 a month on your monthly mortgage?
Yeah.
But if we took that $10,000 and put that towards your rate buy down, that would save you probably closer to $150 to $200 per month on your monthly mortgage payment. So that's where it's a more powerful negotiation for you, rather than trying to slash the price. Come in at the full price offer, because it's going to save you way more per month to get that interest rate bought down. And sellers definitely understand that in today's market. They're feeling it because they're having to, you know, purchase something new somewhere else too. So everyone's feeling the interest rates. It's how can we be a little bit more creative to get a win-win situation on both sides.
Right. And those seller credits, from the lender perspective, you know, you can use those as rate buy down, or they can go towards your closing costs. So yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on is, you know, your cash to close. As a first-time home buyer, what your cash to close encumbrance is your down payment. So whether you're putting 5%, 10%, 20%, it encumbers your closing costs, and it encumbers your prepaids or escrows. And what your prepaids and your escrows are your taxes and insurance. So a mortgage company will kind of put a little savings account for you, and you put in every month. So when those invoices come due, so your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your mortgage company is going to remit those payments for you on your behalf. So it's nothing that you have to kind of remember. You know, you'll get the invoices for them, you'll know what those payments are, and you should keep track of what they are. But you know, that's what encumbers your cash to close. Yeah. So anyway,
I like that. What are some things that you're seeing to help home buyers win in today's market? Like, do you guys have some special promotions going on right now? Or do you have are you still doing the 1% credit match right now?
Yeah, so if you have a competing offer, we definitely will do that. I do seller credits. If I'm working with listing agents, I can do a seller credit if your buyer wants to use me.
That's what I was asking about, yes.
Yeah. So we have a lot of great programs. We have CHAFA programs, so that's a down payment assistance. You can get either 3 or 4%. Both of those programs are different. So call your lender or call me, that we can discuss and how both those programs work. And then if you get seller credit on top of that, you know, we can get your payment in the ballpark of where you kind of want it to be.
I like that. That's awesome. That's a big deal for today's market. We've got some forecasts coming from economists and other lending experts and things saying that we might see some interest rate cuts starting here in late September this year. I mean, we're all hopeful and keeping our fingers crossed for that. Do we think that that's going to cause an influx of home buyers? Are we going to see competitive offers again? Do you think we're going to see home prices?
Well, I think we're all hoping that.
Yeah.
But, you know, what we don't want to see is, we don't want to see another 2020.
Right.
With, you know, those competitive offers, you know, well, I guess it wasn't really low inventory, it was just competitive offers, right?
Right.
But, you know, then we get into situations where there's appraisal gap, and what an appraisal gap is if your house appraises less than what you offered, you have to come in with the difference. You know, because a lender isn't going to lend for anything more than what it appraises for.
Right.
So, you know, I know agents get real nervous with those appraisal gaps, because you want to buy the property for what it's worth.
Right, exactly.
But there was a lot of people that were coming in over market, you know, and that's just what you had to do back then.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
absolutely. I think we're going to see an increase in buyer activity for sure. I don't think that it's going to be the same as it was, obviously, at the 3% interest rates, because we're not going to see those again. But even if we can get, you know, down closer to an even 6%, or we'll see where they end up at. But I think we will see an increase in buyer activity. But, you know, things to keep in mind, like, we have 3.5 months worth of inventory here, and that's not a lot. That's not a huge amount, but that's a lot more than we have seen in years. So I think we'll start to see that inventory get eaten up quicker. But I'm hopeful that we're not going to see, you know, home prices just completely skyrocket like we saw that last time, where people were offering 20, 50 grand over asking price.
You know, Weld County is kind of a desirable area.
It is.
The Carbon Valley. You know, I was at a event where the state demographer, and, you know, data shows that, you know, people are moving to Weld County. People are having babies in Weld County, more than in some of the other counties. So, you know, that's kind of what they're tracking there.
Yep.
So it's a good, you know, we have good parks, we have good schools, we have good, you know, our communities are great, that sort of thing. So that all the things that, you know, new buyers, whether you're buying up or first-time home buyers, you know, that's what people are looking for, are things that are offered in the Carbon Valley /Weld County area.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. We're still building so many more new homes. There's a lot of commercial still coming in, so it's a great area to invest. We know home prices will continue to appreciate here, as they will across the entire state of Colorado, most likely. But I mean, we'll see some dips in some of the smaller markets for sure. But
so we just actually passed some construction on the side of the road, and I kind of want to address that because I think, you know, first-time home buyers / people who are just kind of looky-loos on a Saturday going out and looking at new construction, you know, can you kind of address, you know, if you're going into a new construction area and you walk into something and look at, you know, they're going to ask, do you have a realtor? And if you say no, you know, that's fine if that happens, but you have no one representing you.
right,
And builders, the agents in a new show home, they are representing the seller.
correct.
So I'll let you go with that. So, you know, what do you want people to know about that?
That's a wonderful question. I'm glad that you brought that up. Yes, so if you are planning to look at new construction, even if your realtor is not there with you, make sure that you let your realtor know. Your realtor can call ahead and let them know that you're their client, you're their prospective client. Maybe you haven't, you know, even signed a document with them yet, but that you're a prospective client of theirs. And I'm going to share this story with you. Actually, one of my friends just posted about this. A real estate agent who is my friend, so I know that this story is true. She actually posted this story. She's down in Colorado Springs. She had a past client go and visit new construction without her. Didn't put her name down on the ticket. So then, of course, when they went to go get under contract on the home that they loved there on site, the builders wouldn't let the agent come in and represent her. So the agent said, "No problem. I understand. Best of luck." They wanted to move forward on the home, and of course, she wants what's best for them. So they move forward on the home. That same agent brings a second client into that same community, gets under contract on a house just down the street from her previous client. She was able to negotiate $30,000 off of the purchase price. She was able to negotiate closing costs being covered by the seller, and she was able to negotiate some major upgrades on the home. And so she called her client, who wasn't represented by a real estate agent but worked with the sales office, and they paid full price for their home. They didn't get closing costs covered, and they did get a couple of upgrades.
Yeah.
But they said, we didn't even know that was an option. They didn't even tell us that in the sales office. And of course, they're not going to tell you that in the sales office because they're representing the builder and they're helping the builder make as much money as they can, because that's their job, right? They came in and they flipped this land, and that's their entire process. So it is so important to go in there and find yourself an agent and get somebody who can represent you in your best interest when you're buying new construction. Not only that, they don't tell you that you have the right to have a home inspection done. You absolutely have the right to do a home inspection on new construction, and you absolutely should, because they're going to make some mistakes on new construction homes. I know it's brand new, but they're flying through them pretty quickly, and they're going to make some mistakes. So always have a home inspection done as well, too. That was a great question, Maxine.
Yeah, so, you know, agents know your rights, both on the buy and the sell side. You know, so, you know, and if you don't have an agent, like, you know, the real estate market is kind of changed. A lot of people have left the business. So if you had an agent and they are no longer in the business, go out and find yourself, you know, interview some people. Like, you know, if they're a good agent, they're not going to be offended if you interview them and see if they're a fit for you. You know, a real estate transaction, you know, there can be some stressful situations in there that, you know, a real estate agent is going to help you through. So, you know, find one. You know, if your real estate agent has gotten out of the business, you know, contact Kendra. Contact, you know, someone who has a sign in a neighborhood you like. Like, you need to contact someone. You need to have someone on your side as a buyer.
Yes, ask questions, because if they can't provide the value that they're going to add to you up front, it may not be a good decision to make.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Which, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
the
speaking of
NAR.
that,
You want to touch that?
Yeah, we have some major changes coming to our industry starting August 17th. If you haven't heard about the NAR settlement, the main idea from this settlement is that commissions are being decoupled, which means that a listing agent, someone who's getting ready to help you sell your house, can no longer charge a certain commission and split that with the potential buyer's agent. So that was typically predetermined It's all negotiable 100% from the start, but that was a predetermined amount that was what was going to be offered to the buyer's agent. What's going to happen now is if you are looking to buy a home, you're going to need to sit down with your agent of choice and decide what their value is worth, and they are going to come to an agreement on what they earn as a buyer agent, and then that can get negotiated to the seller at the time that you find your home that you want to purchase. So it's going to be two completely separate negotiations. Buyer agents now have to prove their value up front, show you how they're going to help you with your home buying process, and then you get to decide if that's worth it or not, and then try to negotiate that with the seller. So that's a big change coming up. We have already heard that there are several agents out there who are not well prepared for this. We actually just had a story last week that a seller was advised that she would have to just close on the property. She wouldn't be allowed to pay a buyer's agent, so she should write a personal check after closing. And you can't even make that stuff up. She was advised from her real estate agent that that's what was going to happen. So again, ask questions. Who you work with is going to matter so much moving forward in this market, not only with your real estate agent, with your lender, but your home inspector. I mean, you just need a team of pros, so make sure that you're asking questions and taking time to interview and hire the right people to help you with this process. It's going to be some big changes, but I think it's going to be for the better, for sure.
Yeah, and it's all about protecting the buyer and the seller.
Right.
You know, that's what a realtor is, and there's lots of crazy things that can happen. Not that they do, but
when they do, you want that pro on your side, because you never know when that's going to happen.
Right. And you're constantly, you know, let's touch that, because, you know, most people think that, you know, realtors make a ton of money and
just open the door.
Perhaps they don't perhaps they don't earn it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a good realtor is constantly taking CE credits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're constantly educating yourself, you know, especially what's going on right now. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty cumbersome. Like, there's a lot of reading and education that needs to be done on that.
There is. I took a 2-day course on this changes coming up. I just got my accredited buyer representative certification, so I have 3 more letters behind my name now, and it was a full 2-day course just about these changes coming up and how to best represent home buyers and their best interests with the NAR settlement and things happening. So yeah, I mean, a lot of agents are not going to take that seriously, but it's a lot to stay on top of. It's always evolving. There's new things happening every day. I've been in the industry for 12 years now, and this was my first time ever. This past week, I had a buyer terminate a contract on the inspection. We had full right to terminate the contract on inspection, got their earnest money back, no problem. But then the seller turned around and tried to sue my buyer and the inspector for damaging the property, saying that they had done a lot of things to the property that were already there when we looked at the property. I mean, all that damage was there when we viewed the property, and thank goodness they hired a professional inspection company who wore body cams. They were police grade body cams, so they had the entire inspection on footage showing that the inspector didn't touch or do anything that he was not supposed to.
Realtors, if you are listening to this, you know, make sure your inspectors. I can't believe they're wearing body cams.
I couldn't either.
Crazy to me.
I couldn't believe that either. I had no idea that they even did that. So I mean, if you guys have questions and comments and things about what we're chatting here today, please put those in the comments below and start a conversation. We'd love to answer any questions that you have or any concerns, or if you have some crazy stories you'd like to share with us that you've been in on for, you know, your own real estate transactions. We'd love to hear those too. But let's get some conversations going about this, because I know that there's a lot of big changes coming and there's a lot of concerns people have, and we'd be happy to address those for you guys. But yeah. I can't make this stuff up. This is real life things that happen. So
right. But, you know, with that, a real estate transaction can be stressful. But the end goal is, it's your home, it's where you're going to raise your family, it's where you're going to feed your family. It's, you know, there's a lot of great things about being a homeowner. So hopefully none of this is scaring any of you off to be a homeowner. It will bring you way more joy than, you know, the stress of the transaction, for sure.
Absolutely.
Which is why, you know, for the most part, we're getting people in the back seat so you can meet your neighbors, you know, in your area, find the area where you will love to live. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we hope you guys learned something today. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. And yeah, we'll get you some more exciting people in the back seat starting next week so that you can continue to learn more about the Carbon Valley area.
That's right. And come, I guess we have a few classes. We had Karen Rippler a couple weeks ago. She helps, or she does a hat burning class. So we have that class coming up. I don't remember the date.
We're in September for that. I'll post the link in here so that you guys can check that out and get registered for that if you want. But yeah, you get to burn your own hat with your own design. Take the hat home. She provides the hat and all the material and teaches you exactly how to do it. We're providing all the food and snacks, and it's going to be a really fun class. I'm really looking forward to that. I actually almost bought a hat today and then was like, nope, I'm waiting for Karen's class.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So come out and see us at that. We also do colorful conversations in the Carbon Valley at Mirror Image, second Monday of the month.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. So come out and check that out. We do have some colorful conversations.
We have some color. That is a hoot. We have such a fun group of ladies coming to that. And men are welcome too.
Yes.
But please, if you're looking for something fun to do on a weeknight to get out of the house, come support a great local business and have some fun with us because it's a lot of laughs.
Yes, for sure. So anyway, links below, and yeah, we hope to see you out in the community. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Your Road to Home. Sorry, I'm turning, so I can't. But yeah, get out in your community, meet your neighbors, and love where you live. Thank you.
Awesome. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.